All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to RIA CyberMeetUp. We are kicking off this, let's put it this way, we're kicking off this season because we've been on a little bit of a break since June. We haven't seen you in this setting for a while. If you're still waiting there and trying to get some food, there are still tables here which are almost completely empty. There are some seats everywhere this side as well. Get a drink, get a snack, come over here because we're going to have a packed agenda. And we need to get started right away. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people here today who are going to be presenting something. And these presentations will be about the cybersecurity threats and international events and international ideas of how to secure, well, supply chains and logistics and everything else. Because it's been a while, we're going to start with something we've had here before. It's a special section that we try to have every time. Sometimes we don't get it, sometimes we do. We try to get this going every time. It's a threat landscape presentation. And so let's get it started from our own RIA, our head of analysis and department, Märt Hiietamm. Welcome back to the stage. Here's a microphone. And tell us what's going on.
Thank you, Lauri. Good evening, everybody. Very happy to be back here. I just calculated that now everybody who is about to present will have 11 minutes on average, so I will try to fit into this 11 minutes time slot. Right, so I will first talk about, yes, like Lauri said, the threat landscape, what we have seen this year, and then also a bit about the local elections that will take place next week. Also, namely the security side of those elections. So, I have shown a similar slide before. Now there is the numbers for the first 8 months of this year. So these are the incidents with an impact that we in RIA have registered because people have notified us. Yeah, and as you can see, the 8 months of this year is even a bigger number than the whole of last year, which was almost 100% growth on the year before. So I think, well, it is, yes, we are heading for a new record, but the question is whether this record will have 5 digits or still 4 digits, and the 5 digits will be for the year after. And yeah, it looks serious. Thankfully, it is not, I mean, that serious. Here is a graph now, a pie chart of what those incidents are. And this is actually for the first 6 months of this year. So the previous was for the 8th month. So this number is a bit lower. And we have actually had some tweaks as well in our registry. So now we separate fraud and registry. We used to have them all, fraud and phishing. We used to have only phishing. So we have now separated those, and those together, as you can see, are almost 80% of the incidents that we have registered. So it's mostly, well, criminality. So you can see from here that, I mean, the numbers are big, but really nothing too bad. I mean, it's not like APTs in the east and next to the people in the east are attacking us successfully hundreds of times a month. It's luckily it's not that. So still a lot of phishing and fraud, and that is the situation. I will now move on to a bit of a more general trend slide. I mean, we have talked about DDoS here before. I have talked a bit about, and colleagues from RIA have also talked about activists in Russia who are doing DDoS. I think there was a very successful presentation a couple of years ago. This has actually gone down. I think there is a slide about that later. Like phishing is still there, like I said, vulnerabilities, data leaks, you know, and there's also ransomware is actually back now. So I think last year there was 0 incidents reported to us, and I think there was a company here, NeverHack, last year, or was it early this year, they said they had 0 ransomware issues also last year, I think. So this was a bit, well, low, and now it's coming back. And the image there is done by a colleague of mine with the help of some AI program, and this should visualize the threat that China is actually presenting to all of us. So China is really not on the pie chart yet, but I mean this is that we should all keep in mind that China is there, and it's a climate change that is. It's like a climate change that is coming. We just don't, maybe in Estonia, don't really see or feel it yet. This I mentioned the DDoS, so it's really down from Russia. It really is. I mean, the numbers are very small compared to a couple of years ago. But there's a new trend now that there are some so-called Islamist activist groups have emerged. We try to also follow them online, and we have also been hit with they have tried to hit us with coordinated response attacks. And this is because they sort of deem that, like the Russians, you know, deem that we are on Ukraine's side, and they also feel that we are on the other side. We support the other side, so this is the reason behind those DDoSes. Nothing too serious, but yes, so it's from the Middle East, also North Africa and Southeast Asia, and they also cooperate with the Russians on botnets, I'm told by colleagues. So this is a new thing. And now maybe some major or the biggest incidents with some impact we have noticed, we have registered this year. So it's really nothing new that there are some problems with the systems of the police. Sometimes things happen. You know, it's usually there's a small malfunction or something just falls down for a few minutes. But there was a bigger incident in June when the border crossings actually were, I think, closed for a couple of hours, and also the 112 emergency calls didn't function. So that was a thing. That was an incident which did have an impact and impacted many people. It was not a cyber attack. It was again a malfunction, but still, it was. We put it here. Then I also have to say that I tried to find an English version of this to put on the slide, and I only found it on Fishbyte's LinkedIn. So here it is, and thanks to Fishbyte as well. So basically, Cinnamon, which is a movie theater chain, or I don't know, they don't probably have that many theaters left, but still used to be a movie theater chain in all the 3 Baltic countries. They were a victim of a ransomware attack in June, early June this year, and they chose not to pay. They built their system from scratch. It took a while, and so they basically sold tickets only at the cinemas, but they were also very open about it. So there's a Facebook post by them in Estonian on the left. And I think it was a good strategy. They came back online, and now it's functioning. And very open, I think I liked it. Another thing, maybe I mentioned ransomware again. Hecotec is a machinery company. Sorry, this was not ransomware. I'm getting them mixed up. So this was still it was a smart ID scam. Basically, the accountant was fooled, and basically hundreds of thousands of euros were stolen, which was a big. I guess it's a big thing for a company like Hecotec, even though they didn't notify us. We read it from Äripäev and also again from Fishbyte's LinkedIn page, where I found the English text there. But yeah, 52 transfers in 2 hours, and the accountant was well, the financial, the head of finances was deemed culpable and responsible by the management. A very sad thing. Then there was a problem in East Central Hospital of Tallinn. No, East Tallinn Central Hospital. End of May, 2.5 to 3 hours, no planned operations, no emergency, because there was again a malfunction with the IT systems. They were updating something, didn't work, and they had to turn people coming to the emergency away to other hospitals in Tallinn, and planned operations did not take place. I mean, if I had been there, probably would have been very unpleasant, and yeah, so it's a serious incident as well. Luckily, it was resolved rather quickly. And I tried to find a sort of a post about it in Estonian or English, but I didn't find anywhere. So it was, I think, might have been deleted. Anyway, here it is. This I put here because I've shown this before, but I mean this was 2 years ago. For about a day and a half, you couldn't buy any train tickets in Estonia because of a successful DDoS from Russian activists. And this, I think, is still the incident with the biggest and longest lasting impact since the war in Ukraine started. Just to put it here as a reminder. So again, the pie chart, many big numbers, but not that serious, luckily, this year. Then I'm getting to the end, I promise, because 50 minutes gone already. I put here some things that we have maybe done in RIA this year, which could be useful for the cyber community and also the citizens on a wider scale. I maybe just mention one of them right now because we're running out of time. It's the creation of the Estonian Information Security Standard 8, and now officially there is like a basic version of that, or the initial security version of that. It is called 𝘰𝘧𝘰𝘧 in slang. It's like little h, like h, small h. I think this is legal now from the 1st of October, so smaller entities who fall under the Cybersecurity Act, they can now implement that instead of the big H. So there was, I think, definitely a good step towards the smaller entities who maybe are not that IT or cyber savvy. I think that's a good step. And finally, just a teaser maybe. So every October we have a awareness raising campaign. This year it's directed towards SMEs, and it basically says that don't let your business be killed by cyber predators, and it will be live right after the elections. And now a couple of words about the elections as well, like Lauri asked me to. So very briefly, maybe just a couple of new things. You see the dates, it's the whole of next week. iVoting until the 18th, the Saturday. Now you can authenticate using Smart ID as well when you vote online. That's a new thing. There is a technical readiness to do it using a mobile phone, but there is no legal possibility to do it, at least not yet, hopefully maybe next time. And we now have this Eesti or Estonia app where you have your documents also, but you cannot use them to identify yourself at the polling station. I think that's also important to know, because this is still a work in progress, where you can, and who accepts your documents via the app and who doesn't. It's a work in progress, it's coming. So, and a bit about the security. So we in RIA, together with many other authorities actually, and the main partner of course, or actually the owner of the elections is the State Electoral Office, Riigi Valimisteenistus, and we are basically the security and IT partner, I would say. For the last, basically since the European Parliament elections ended in June last year, we have been actually working on the new elections, those local elections. So again, the iVoting system, the election information system which are used, they are ready. Again, the new developments, they're tested. So the iVoting system is the one where you vote online on your computer. You have to download an app and then you vote, and this is done via the iVoting system. And the election information system is the one where they insert the votes when you go to the polling station. And we have to make sure that they're both up and running, also in terms of technical parameters and also in terms of cybersecurity. And for the whole week, next week, then RIA as an authority will be in the Charlie readiness mode. So that's right now we're in normal mode, green mode, alpha. It's like 9 to 5 basically for most people, like in every office. And then for 3 years after the war started, we were in yellow or Bravo, and then we went back to the green one early this year, and now we are going to orange, which is the third level of escalation, and this means that we are basically ready 24/7 to monitor and to be able to make things better if need be. Also the very crucial web page, 𝘊𝘰𝘬𝘬𝘚, which also will depict the results. This is monitored and secure and tested, and we have done different kinds of outreach towards the personnel of the polling stations and to candidates, the parties, so to try tested the websites of the parties. We have this cyber test in RIA. Everyone in the polling stations can go through that before the election starts. I think that's it actually. I've now taken almost 20 minutes. I'm sorry for the, sorry about that. Thank you very much. Right.
Thank you. Big applause, please. Before you go, is there one question from the audience that we can take? He'll be here for a little while, and you can ask him later on questions himself. All right, another applause, please. All right, let's continue. So we're gonna go into some global stuff now. And when we advertised this event, our initial the first one of the fall, we did say that Kuehne+Nagel's CISO is going to be here. Daniel Meyer-Johnson unfortunately was unable to be here, so my good friend Liis will take over and tell us a little bit about the guarding global supply chains. What does Kuehne+Nagel do in cybersecurity? How do you do this? How do you guard those things? Coming up here, there's a microphone, there's a clicker, and tell us about Kuehne+Nagel.
Hi everybody, super fantastic to see so many people here, and again on behalf of Daniel I would like to apologize. He was not able to be here tonight, but I hope that I can do almost as good of a job about talking about our cybersecurity efforts than he could. Before we dive into the topics, a couple of words about me. So I'm working with Kuehne+Nagel. I work with the highest IT leadership. I report directly to the CIO, Markus Claesson, and Daniel is my team member. So I will work closely together with these guys on quite a high level. So, but don't be worried. If you have a technical question, I actually have a colleague here, 𝘰𝘧𝘰𝘱𝘬𝘀. So when we go into the networking session, then you can approach him and ask him about the battle stories that he might want to share with you. But before we start talking about cyber, I would like to say a couple of words about Kuehne+Nagel, because I'm not so sure if you can actually understand what we do and who we are. So we are one of the leading transport and logistics companies in the world. By volume, we are the biggest sea and air freight company in the world. Most of the things that you can see in this room, probably we have touched at some point or another on their supply chain journey. So we have more than 400,000 customers. More than 82,000 people work for us globally. Out of those, we have about 500 here in Estonia, where we have our IT service center. So in Estonia, we have 500 highly trained professionals who are innovating the global supply chains. So everything we do in Estonia is for global purposes. And also we have cybersecurity teams in Estonia. We are also a stock-listed company, and we operate in almost 100 countries, and we have more than 1,300 locations. So when you think about in one day we ship 17,000 containers. So that's about 4 million containers a year. If you stack them on top of each other, you can go all the way up to the International Space Station and back again. When we talk about air freight, then 60 jets every day, which is about 2 million tons of cargo yearly. That's about 300,000 elephants. And we have more than 10 million square meters of warehouse space. That's more than 2,000 football fields. So you can understand that we are a very big, very global company. Our turnover per year is almost 30 billion euros. As a comparison, the Estonian governmental budget for this year was about 19 billion. So it's very important for us to have reliability and stability to be sure that we can serve our 400,000 customers and also our more than 80,000 employees. So customer trust is really very important for us, and also so is supply chain efficiency, and also we have to do very good risk management to be sure that everything works 24 hours a day. So here's a snapshot. What does it mean to have, to run and protect a company of our size? We have more than 100,000 devices in more than 1,300 locations. We have more than 3,000 applications that we use internally. A lot of these applications we have built internally in-house. And then there's the connectivity part. We have about 1.5 billion messages that we exchange with our customers. It was a 2024 number. We can see about 30% rise year on year. So this year we see that we will exceed the 2 billion mark. Also, we have 3 billion IoT events. That was also these are last year's numbers. And we have 500 million API calls annually. And so now when we go to cybersecurity, we have 30,000 analyzed cases last year. And out of those, we have 10,000 true positive detections and that we defended. This is not as dramatic as it looks like. So these are cases that we have analyzed. So either our people have analyzed or the AI has analyzed. We have actually had very, very few security incidents over the past 18 months. And out of those incidents that we have had, there has been no financial impact on the company. Yes, we've had to take some time to restore our systems, but we have not been hit financially. So I think we've been very lucky that way, and also we have really, really super great teams doing very, very good work. But as I said, these numbers obviously is not everything. We have also firewalls that block a lot of the things, so these things, not everything comes to these numbers. And we are using AI to analyze, and also people. And we also have external partners like CrowdStrike who help us defend our company. So as you can imagine, it's like we are not the only ones that are worried about cyber incidents. So this is a threat landscape from Alliance Risk Barometer 2025. They had about 4,000 respondents, more than 100 countries. And the number one business risk globally for those people who responded is cyber incidents. And when we go to our field, which is transport and logistics, we can see that this is the number 2 threat for people. And number 1 is business interruptions, but the cyber incidents are only 2% lower than that one. And when we look at big companies globally, like companies that have turnover of more than 500 million, then for them also cyber incidents is the biggest business threat this year. So we see that the world is facing a massively changing threat landscape. We can see that the attackers are faster. It takes less time to penetrate. It takes less time to move around in the system once they are in. We see that they are more ruthless. They are more geopolitically motivated. They are increasingly sophisticated. and they are more and more targeting critical infrastructure. So we can see that before the war started in Ukraine, the hackers, they seemed to have some kind of like a moral code that they would rather go on after the institutions and not so much for the critical infrastructure like hospitals, for example. And we see now that this is changing, so they are now going more and more towards the critical infrastructure to really actually hurt actual human beings. And they are increasingly using AI more and more to do so. And we are also seeing that these guys are no longer these like, you know, guys in hoodies in basements, but these are like, they're running their business like an actual business. So they have CEOs, they have HR, they have sales targets, they have IT department who is taking care of their infrastructure needs, etc. So they are very, very organized. And more they are using AI to conduct their business, meaning that we can see that it's not enough only to have humans, you also have to have AI to fight AI, because humans are not fast enough. So how do we protect the global supply chain? We have an IT strategy set in place, and one of the most fundamental principles of the strategy is that we have to run a robust and reliable IT landscape, and we always have to pay attention that our customers and employees are very important to us. So we have to be very like customer and employee faced. And also we need to strengthen our resilience against cyber threats. And our IT strategy is something that we live by every day, so every action that we do has to have some kind of turning or some kind of connection with the strategy. In InfoSec, we have some guiding principles. And one of the most important things for us is that our InfoSec organization has to be a service organization. So we are here to serve the company. We are here to help the business thrive. We are here to make sure that the business has all the right tools and all the right measures so that they can operate and we can protect them. So the service mindset is very important for us. We have 3 main tasks, I would say, in InfoSec. So one is to make sure that we have an information security management system. On that, we need to have policies. I mean, we are a German company. We have a lot of policies, of course. And we also have to pay attention that we have internal and external audits. In Germany, we are part of the critical infrastructure, meaning that we have very, very fierce audits every year conducted by the German government. And then there's communication. So communication is also very important for us because we need our employees to also understand that they are the ones who can detect some of the threats, and that they are the ones who can actually fight back, and they are the ones who are responsible for raising the flags and saying that something fishy is going on here. So we have standardized trainings. We do a lot of trainings. We do a lot of awareness and internal communication, and we do a lot of customer communication as well. So when we want to have a customer, they also want to be sure that we secure their data, and so that their supply chain is guarded sufficiently. And then we have the cyber defense teams. Part of them is based in Tallinn. So here I would say that we have a clear demarcation of responsibilities. So our first line of defense is the business. So it's like we need to make sure that the business has the right tools and that they have the framework. And within that framework, they should be as free as possible to set up their SOPs, for example. As Daniel Meyer-Johnson likes to say, it's like, you know, we tell you guys that Word is the application that you use, but what do you do inside Word and how do you put the words together in Word, then this is your business. And then if you need help, then we will come and help you. So we are in the middle, and then the third layer are the players outside our organization, because we are not an island, so we need to operate in a world where we have also rules and regulations that we have to comply. And in order for us to make sure that the first layer, the business, and the second layer, the InfoSec, that we are aligned, we have a system of champions. So the champions are between the 2 layers, and it's their responsibility to help the business understand InfoSec, and InfoSec help understand the business. These are also people who are responsible for raising the awareness in the organization about InfoSec. And they need to understand the business thoroughly, but they also have to understand InfoSec. So these are the people who are kind of between us and the business. And this has proven to be very a successful model, I would say. So as we come to the end of this presentation, there are 3 things that are really, really important for us. One of it is people. So the people in our organization, the people, the security champions, and also our customers. And then we have the processes. We need to have really, really strong processes and understanding how we conduct our affairs. And then the third one is technology. Now, at KN, it's one of the things that we say a lot is technology makes extraordinary possible. And we are the techie guys who have to help the business to succeed. So we are here for the business, for them to do extraordinary stuff. So if you have any more questions, or if you want to have ask more questions, you can find me on LinkedIn. And yeah, I mean, I think that's it from me. But was I under time?
Yes, you are under time. That's great. All right. Applause. All right, we have time for one question. There is a question in the audience. Please identify yourself and ask your question, please.
I'm Glenn, and
Hi, Glenn.
I would like you, could you elaborate on those 9,000 positives? Because those sound like interesting things. What are those 9,000 positives? What are not incidents?
Very interesting question. Yes, I cannot, unfortunately, I cannot go very much into details, but these are cases where either the machine or human has seen that there's something dodgy that we need to investigate further. So out of the 30,000, 20,000 were like, okay, machine analyzed, and wow, that's, be done with it. And this is something where we need to pay a little bit more attention. Like I said, we are part of the critical infrastructure in Germany. So it might be that some of those cases we have to analyze because we have the rules and regulations that apply to us because of this. Also, you can go to 𝘰𝘳𝘰𝘱𝘦𝘢 later, and maybe like he can give you the insight that we can't say out loud here in the big wide audience.
Exactly, and maybe there's maybe off camera is also good to talk about incidents and what's actually good there. All right, thank you very much again, Liis. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have somebody here. It's an honor to have companies here who are global, who will talk to us about what they do and how they are doing information security. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to continue. We're going to continue with a presentation from our own team. Kaisa is going to come up here, and before she goes into the presentation, come on up here. Just want to remind you that one purpose of what we are doing here in this cyber meetup is we're trying to get all of you to actually participate in some, joint collaborations. And there are opportunities to do this, and Kaisa will tell you about them.
Yes. Hey, so in RIA, I'm the cybersecurity community coordinator. I coordinate, among other things, events to bring you together, among other events, such as this. But today, I will just quickly mention 2 possibilities that might be of interest. One is interesting for the ones who would like to participate in EU-funded projects, mostly in Digital Europe program. On the 16th of October, there is a short webinar, 1.5 hours, and it requires previous registration, but it will give you the tips and tricks on how to succeed in writing a successful proposal. It's organized by Dev for All project, which has come to life for the national contact points of this program, so it should be a really good source of information. Later on in the looping slides during the networking session, you will also see those QR codes. Another event, as I don't have much time, then another event is North European Cyber Days. Has anyone heard of it? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. But the reason why I'm informing about this event, because there are a lot of huge cyber events going on that you are aware of, because they're an annual, but this isn't annual. It's a one-time opportunity. It's organized by European Cybersecurity Organization, North European Cybersecurity Cluster, with their partners, NCC Network. Our NCC Nordic Baltic Network is also supporting a little bit. It will be a 3-day event in Oslo, Norway. It doesn't have a participation fee. However, you have to get there somehow. You have to find accommodation. But it is a really good opportunity to network, to find partners. There are 2 focus groups. One is CISOs, and the other is, let's put them together, SMEs and startups, because basically they have an opportunity to either pitch themselves or to showcase their new technological solutions. But not only, those 3 days are filled with presentations, with panel discussions, with demos, but yes, those 3 days have focus. So apart from what I just mentioned, the first day is Investor Day, where SMEs and startups can pitch themselves to investor panel. Then the second day is meant for, with that focus on new technological solutions. That's the time when CISOs showcase their new solutions, specifically in healthcare or some other that I'm now not remembering. Anyway, check the website. But the third day is where it gets interesting to us, is that's the day where EU funding opportunities are discussed. That's the day when you hear about successful projects that come and talk how and what they have done. So that's the day when we will also be there, and that's the day when we would like to see you over there as well. If you're going, let me know, because not only it would be good to go there together or contact over there together, but it would also be good for me to know who is interested in these types of events, to whom it would be interesting for me to send those type of events later on. And in case there is need for financial support, to support your representatives going there, then also get in contact with me. By 15th of October, we will see our opportunities, maybe partially also support your trip in there. And before I leave, look at the time, CyberMeetUp Season 4 is always looking for new exciting projects, case studies, international speakers, national speakers who will give extra value to you. So if it's you or if it's someone you know, then you guessed it, contact me, and maybe next time or the time after, you will see them on the stage. Thank you. I will take questions during the networking.
Thank you. Thank you so much. She will be here and she will take questions. Right, let's continue with our international approach to these things. We have a special guest today with us from all the way from far, far away, Latvia. And Matīss is a researcher, and right now he's working for the NATO CCDCOE, right? And he has He's gonna come up here and talk to us about cybersecurity in Latvia. What is it? And I do understand that there's a book promotion somewhere there. No? Okay. Yeah. You're gonna be signing books? No. Okay, maybe not. Okay. Right.
So yeah, hi, my name is Matīss, and as Lauri already mentioned, now I'm here based in Tallinn for a few months already. Kaisa was inviting me to speak already last year, but last year I couldn't come, but this time there was no way out since I'm already here. So I come from Ministry of Defense of Latvia, who is responsible for the whole cyber policy, and also, as you already know, work now in NATO CCDCOE as national representative. And today I wanted to highlight a little bit how do we work with our community, because from what we see, it's actually quite different approaches. And we are ministry, we are responsible for policy, so we are a little bit selfish. So we want to get a bit more out of community ourselves as well. And you will see why I'm saying that. So how do we organize it? It's like a semi-formal community, so there is official registration process, so it's not like an open event. Only registered organizations can attend our events. And we involve them quite a lot in the policy building process, where we workshop, sometimes use some design thinking methods to get their perspectives and input to help us, because of course we are few, they are more than us, and every opinion counts and makes our work easier. And what we also do, that we often meet at members' premises. The location always changes, so we visit each other, see what they are doing. We also had some regional outings where we go somewhere out of the capital and then see our partners there. So it's kind of a bit mixed up. So currently we have 60 organizations in this community which are active members, but we are always open for more. And usually we meet every 2-3 months. Also, the profile of organizations is very varied. Of course, we have organizations for whom cybersecurity is business, that's natural, but also a lot of organizations for whom cybersecurity is just priority in their everyday business, even though maybe they don't have anything to do with cybersecurity as money-making machine for them. So let's say a large hospital for whom it's critical and they participate in this community. And of course, cybersecurity has interest, so there are a lot of business associations, NGOs, academics who just do various things related to cybersecurity. So what have we achieved together working with them? Of course, I think one of the best examples where we worked also with Estonian cyber community, with RIA together by organizing a Cyber Bazaar conference for our cybersecurity communities, a hackathon for students. So we try to also facilitate their networking and networking also between countries, so that our communities don't live in their silos here. So those kinds of events, of course, are welcome in future again. And I think we have very good grounds from last year on which to build this. As I mentioned, we also use our community for various workshops to help us shape the best support for cybersecurity community and also wider audience in the country and innovate. So one thing is, of course, financial support to SMEs, similar as also RIA had in their project. Also we supported a little bit less than 30 organizations, so 30 projects during 2 years. And some of them are cybersecurity as business organizations who advance new solutions, but also just organizations from very various industries who need extra push and extra investment for their cybersecurity needs. So it was open for everybody. And I mentioned policy shaping. Once in a while we do these workshops. We have done on workshops with the community on education needs, on workforce availability, on societal cyber resilience. So they are very valuable, where we collect some perspectives that we maybe don't see in our ministry walls, sitting there discussing stuff between ourselves. So community helps us really, really a lot, and they also can feel included in policy building process. A lot of training support. On the right side you see a Latvian team in Warsaw. Currently this week there is a European Cybersecurity Challenge for students. So for the second year we're also finally sending a team, and the team gets a lot of support from our community members because they provide some financial, other support, some training support. And also the team leader comes from the community, the main trainer. And Digital Academy is another thing that benefited. Digital Academy is the academy for government employees, which is fully funded by European Union projects. And together with community, we also created a specific course for cybersecurity managers. As we know, NIS2 regulation came, and we, in a shortage of so many people who could be cybersecurity managers in organizations, and at least for government sector, we already have this course ready and available for them, so that they quickly train for this position. For private sector, it's not there yet, but it was done with the community input. Basically, the main thing why I came here, but not only, because I wanted to speak a bit about other things as well, that during last 2 years, the Ministry financed and curated a book called Cybersecurity in Latvia. It's open access, so everybody can get the contents for free. If you want a paperback, then of course it's paid, but who needs that now when you can access it digitally for free? And it's also comes from the community effort. A lot of authors are from academic institutions which are part of our community, people from the industry and people from government, so it was a joint effort, kind of whole of society approach. And I myself worked on a chapter about education and skills shortage in our economy. So I can talk more about that if you're interested later. What is our situation? Long story short, situation is not perfect as everywhere, but there are more insights on that. So this is multidisciplinary book. It's not purely technical, so everybody can find something. And since our size is similar, Latvia and Estonia, probably a lot of problems and a lot of insights will also resonate with you. And also, I want to invite you to Riga. October is Cybersecurity Month, and we have 2 conferences coming up. I just checked before the event if registration is still open. It is. So first one is Techretory, which is more about infrastructure, digital transformation, 5G, various cybersecurity topics as well. And this is where the book launch will also happen, and there will be a panel of authors who will speak more about the book. So that's why I will not spoil everything. I invite you to come to the conference and see for yourself. Also, conference has live stream, so you can connect remotely if you find something interesting in the agenda. Another one is Cyber Chest, organized by our CERT. RIA usually has huge delegation coming, so you can join them and come together. It's 1 week later. It's broadly cyber policy, cyber technical, and just overall cyber conference, which is also a tradition, and also my ministry colleagues are involved in some parts of it. That one is also still open. And also a lot of sessions will have a live stream if you're interested. From my side, that's all. Thank you. And I will be around, and if you want, you can ask me questions.
All right, big applause, please. Do we have a question now from the audience? Later then. All right, thank you very much. All right. We are at the end of our program, but we do still have one more presentation coming up. We have a guest from, well, it's basically an Estonian company, but it's like international now. James Thomas, coming up here. Tell us a little bit about what you do and who you do it to. And here's a microphone. Your slides will be up there, and there's a clicker there as well. Take it away.
Thank you very much. So, James Thomas, I'm currently Nortal's Global Head of Cybersecurity. I'm here with my colleague, Kadri, who's over there. Stand up. Say hello. Say hello. So I'm currently, as I said, the Global Head of Cybersecurity. I was asked to come here today and talk a little bit about what it is we do, and then more give a story or a quick anecdote about my transition from the military. I left 3 years ago into the civilian sector and what that looks like, and the parallels or the comparisons between how the military does things and how civilian street does them. So what it is we do, so Nortal is an Estonian company by birth, but is now multinational in its delivery. We have offices in the UK, Germany, Estonia, the US, Mexico, and Middle East, and a number of other places. We offer cybersecurity services across the entire gamut, so from cybersecurity policy and process development, strategy development, through to operational support. We have contracts with UK MOD, with the German MOD, with the Estonian government, and with large multinational companies, so companies within the S&P 500 and within the top 50 by weight of that index. We don't, however, deliver all those services organically. We have an ecosystem of partnerships, both national and international, within the different markets, and we're always looking for other partners. So the bit I've been told by Kadri to make sure that I mention. So if anybody is interested in partnering, then Kadri is most definitely the Estonian point of presence, because I live in a small backwater village in the UK, so very hard to get hold of by design. I've only got 2 slides, so this should be relatively quick. But I spent 21 years, 3 months and 1 day in the British military. I started off as an electronics engineer, telecommunications as a soldier. About halfway through my career, I decided I didn't like working for a living, so I went to Sandhurst and commissioned as an officer, just to find out that actually officers do sometimes work as well. I specialized towards the middle of my career in electronic warfare and cyber, and I lived in Estonia, in Tallinn, for 7 months, just on the other side of Freedom Square, where I was the UK liaison officer to Estonia for electronic warfare and cyber, and also the lead within the enhanced forward presence for both the same, so electronic warfare and cyber. The anecdote is that the grass is always greener on the other side, or so it appears. So my anticipation or my expectation of civilian cybersecurity was always that the civilian sector had cybersecurity more swept up and was more mature and capable in its delivery of cybersecurity than was defense. So I consider cybersecurity as a boundary problem. So in a military context or in a military operation, the enemy will always exploit across a boundary because it's the weakest point in any force structure. And that boundary can exist not just between like a division or a corps or a brigade or multinational agency, but it can also happen inside the organization. So between 2 squadrons, between 2 regiments, between 2 platoons, between 2 fire teams, like it goes down as far as you need it to go. And in a multinational context, there are different levels of maturity, different policies, different processes, different security protocols, different classifications of information, and sharing that information across a multinational force is actually really difficult So whilst I was here as part of the UK's threat intelligence capability is actually relatively mature. But being able to actually share that information with my partners, both within Estonia, within the Enhanced Forward Presence capability here, and within the CCDCOE, as well as internationally across the entire Enhanced Forward Presence, which has locations within Poland, Lithuania, and all the way down, is even more difficult. So you end up having to build personal relationships to make up for gaps in technology, policy, and process, and it's those personal relationships with my peers within those different force structures, those different organizations, whether that be industry, academia, other military forces, that actually fills the gap that technology couldn't fill or could fill if we allowed it to, but policy and process stops you from doing that. And it's those personal relationships that you fall back on to achieve what it is you need to achieve in point of crisis. But that's not just within a multinational context. Like the military has a culture of liaison officers. So anytime there's a boundary, even between, even the British military internally, if we're working with 2 divisions or 2 corps or 2 regiments, you will always usually swap military personnel between you so that you understand the context of your partner on the other side of the boundary. And we do that with academia, we do that with industry, and we try and make sure that those boundaries are as closed as tight as possible so that we understand what it is each other's doing, when we're doing it, how we do it, and what the other person needs to be aware of. Tests assumptions, it makes sure that when we're doing planning for resilience or contingency, that both sides are informed. And I thought that was a very clunky mechanism. I thought the industry, single organizations must be more swept up than that. Their IT department must be integrated across everything they do. Their resilience team must be like core to their business because, every company is a data company, every company is an IT company. Why wouldn't you protect to the utmost of your ability your IT and your infrastructure and your data to be able to deliver effect to your customers? I have since found that they're just as dysfunctional as defense, and in some ways more dysfunctional because they don't understand that element of exercising and liaison. So one of the other things that Nortal does is deliver exercising, resilience exercising, using the military format for exercising to our civilian customers. So we, again, have delivered some large-scale exercises across not just cyber, because I consider cyber as one element of security, and if you don't consider the physical, the human, the operational level, the operational security aspects of a problem, then you can be as tight as you want on the cybersecurity side, but you're still going to fail because somebody will just bypass the strong point that you've made in cyber and come through the flank of your physical security or your operational security. So we try and cover all of those aspects and highlight to organizations that this isn't an IT problem, this is a HR problem for the insider threat. This is a legal problem for understanding the compliance frameworks and how you respond to something. This is a communications problem, both internal, so how you communicate internally, best practice and lessons learned process, so how you take the failures of the past or the successes of the past and communicate them and propagate them through the organization to make sure you don't repeat those mistakes and that you reinforce good behaviors. And not more importantly, but just as importantly, is the strategic communications problem where you communicate to your stakeholders wherever they are. And a stakeholder in this instance is anybody that is interested in your organization, right? So anybody that's interested is a stakeholder. How much impact they have is a different question. So we try and bridge all of those things and deliver to the organization an understanding that assumptions need to be tested. A plan that has not been put through its paces and tested is not a plan at all. It's a wish and a prayer or a hope that it'll work. If you've got a backup plan or and it hasn't been tested and you haven't restored from backup, that's not a plan. That's again a wish, and good luck with that because I've seen that fail a number of times. And that's a really hard lesson for industry to learn that I thought would be out of the box understood. Like it's essential to ensuring the resilience of your organization and to delivering value to your customer. So my takeaway is that the military is not perfect, but neither is industry, and there's a lot of lessons that both can learn from each other, which is the way Nortal is currently looking at delivering value to our customers and to the wider defense ecosystem. And that's me.
Thank you so much for this. You can wait. Can we ask you a question? Is there a question in the audience? There is a question over there. I'm gonna go for it. Introduce yourself.
Hi there. Some of you know me already. My name's Alan. I'm the chairman of the British Estonian Chamber of Commerce. I have a little bit of J2 experience myself, and from my time in the British Army, I found that EW, cyber, anything which couldn't be written down was strongly put aside or ignored or siloed. So I'm sorry for the acronyms, the ISTAR process or J2 process for EW, cyber, and land forces would all be in their respective silos. Is that the same in industry, or are people more aware of the different capabilities or different vectors they can be attacked at? And is that looked at as a whole picture or still in the same siloed approach? Thank you.
Thank you. Are you Incore? Next question, please. No, it's a good question. I think that in military context, cyber is often seen as a wicked problem. Like, how do you, and in an exercise domain, so we've spent millions of pounds moving man and material to Estonia to run an exercise. How do you then exercise the cyber element of that without completely derailing the physical exercise and therefore wasting all of that money? Like, you can't stop the armored division moving across the plane just because the cyber thing is playing out, because what are you going to do with that man and material? And cyber is seen as a wicked problem there. So I completely understand the military reference. I also think that and this is almost a cliche, but it's a true one. In industry, my experience so far is that this is an IT problem or a geek problem or somebody else's problem, not necessarily our problem. So the whole education, people keep asking me what's the most cost-effective thing I can do to increase my cybersecurity. It's train your people. Like, get some understanding, change the culture of your organization. If you haven't, culture eats strategy for breakfast. If you haven't got the right culture to enact cybersecurity, enacting it in a way that doesn't require a cultural change is going to be really difficult and probably fail.
Thank you so much. Give another round of applause here, please. Catch him before he goes, right? If you want more questions, then some of the people will be staying here for a networking event or networking hangout here as well. We are done with our program. Please come back next month. We're going to have this event again. No kidding. We are. And for everybody who is watching us online, thank you for watching us online, and thank you for rewatching this the fourth time that you are watching this. November the 13th is the next time we're having this. Stay for some snacks. There are some drinks there left. Thank you, everybody, and see you next time.